Now at 9, Missouri will have new laws in place at the beginning of the new year. We'll tell you what they are. And a Christmas rollover crash takes the life of a Carterville, Missouri man. And a school teacher in Oklahoma has her teaching certificate suspended after a federal indictment.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The new year will bring some new laws in Missouri. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. I'm Anthony Saviello. Missouri will make some updates to its expungement laws and will change other laws like minimum wage. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more.
On January 1st, Missouri will update its expungement laws. Here's how this updated law will make it easier to clear or expunge criminal records. Expungements are the official sealing of someone's arrest or conviction. Once sealed, these records are unavailable to be seen in background checks. It also allows a person to answer no when asked if they have a criminal history on an application. Some other changes include allowing multiple charges in a single criminal incident to be grouped and expunged as a whole. Increases the number of crimes someone can seal in their lifetime. It'll go from 2 to 3 misdemeanors and from 1 to 2 felonies. It eliminates the number of infractions a person can have expunged, such as speeding or parking tickets. Once the law takes effect, people won't have to wait as long to apply. For a felony sentence, the waiting period to apply for expungement goes from 7 to 3 years. For misdemeanors or infractions, the wait time shortens from 3 years to 1. And for an arrest that resulted in no charges filed, someone can file in 18 months for expungement rather than 3 years. 4 crimes were added to the list of Class A felonies ineligible for expungement, including sexual conduct with a nursing facility resident or vulnerable person, second degree, child used in sexual performance, promoting sexual performance by a child, and cross-burning. Changes to expungement laws aren't the only changes Missourians will see in 2025. There'll also be an increase in minimum wage and stricter distracted driver laws.
Tomorrow we'll have more on new laws that will take effect in Kansas this new year. Some other new laws going into effect on January 1st include the hands-free law. You face a fine starting in the new year as opposed to only warnings. If you flee an officer during a traffic stop, the new Valentine's law kicks in, making the consequences more severe. And if a driver fails to respond or pay a fine, the court can no longer issue an arrest warrant. Well, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty for a first look at our weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a nice day temperature-wise. We did have a lot of clouds throughout the daytime hours, so a little dreary, but 60 for a high. Started out at 48. Our average high is 45 degrees, so our overnight low is warmer than what we should be topping out at during the afternoon. Temperatures have been holding mainly into lower 50s throughout the evening. That's what we're going to see again tonight. Dense fog advisory on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side. Visibilities will be under a half a mile, but still, even though the advisory is not in southwestern Missouri, we're still going to have patchy, thick fog in Missouri and also in Arkansas. Showers have been ongoing mainly in our southern counties, but we have these hit and miss showers as this weak wave continues to work through. So we are going to be wet as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Another storm system right behind it, which will give us some showers tomorrow. We're going to break all this down for you here in just a bit.
All right, Doug, thanks. The Oklahoma State Board of Education has suspended the teaching certification of a special education instructor who was charged in federal court with child abuse. Jennifer Inyart and her husband Keith Inyart were federally indicted on December 16, 2024. The multiple child abuse charges involving their 15-year-old. Those charges include neglect and assault with a dangerous weapon. According to documents, one of the forms of abuse was evidence of taser marks. Any teacher whose certification is suspended has the chance to appeal. That hearing will happen in January. The Missouri Highway Patrol releases its annual Christmas traffic crash report. Troopers reported 3 vehicle fatalities over the holiday. That was out of 65 traffic crashes, 38 traffic injuries, and 17 DWIs. The number reflects a 30-hour counting period from 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve to 11:59 on Christmas night. Last year, troopers reported 3 fatalities during a 78-hour period for comparison. There were no boating crashes or drownings during this year or last year's counting period. Multiple agencies responded to a rollover crash early Christmas morning just before 12:15 a.m. Eric Drapo of Joplin was traveling eastbound on Highway HH, taking the on-ramp to Mo 171 when his SUV rolled over, ejecting Drapo from the vehicle. He was taken to Mercy Joplin, where he later died of his injuries. Coming up, it's holiday cleanup time and what you can recycle and how to cut down on waste this season. Later, a pay boost is coming for millions on Social Security, what it means for your budget next year. After the parties, presents, tree decorating, and more, the Environmental Protection Agency says Americans produce 25% more trash between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day. Fox's Caroline Shively looks at tips for recycling all that holiday waste.
After all the gift opening, the celebrating, and the eating, it's time to think about recycling.
Americans consume a lot more material between Thanksgiving and New Year's, as much as 25% more than average. A lot of that material, the good news is recyclable.
Holiday items that are recyclable include plain gift wrap, cardboard boxes, packing materials, and more. But recycling services say there are still some items that are a no-go.
Obviously, anything that's got foil or glitter, anything that's got bows or any kind of other kind of embellishments, that material should not go in the recycling bin.
And those chopped down Christmas trees can also be turned into mulch or compost.
And they should be free of anything like ornaments, lights, hardware like stands and nails that could damage recycling equipment.
And it's not just the trees that should be prepped for recycling.
Anything that's large, either you cut it up, fold it up, make sure it goes into the recycle container because that service is automated.
As for additional food waste, there are ways to cut down on piling up the trash bins, including buying and cooking just what's needed or freezing leftovers quickly. Plus, food banks accept unopened, donated food or shelf-stable ingredients.
Now, over the years, so many programs have developed where we're able to donate all this food.
Still, some say there are ways to skip the holiday waste altogether.
We used to call it dad wrapped, where you just put it in the bag that you bought it from the store, maybe tied the top of the plastic bag or the paper bag that it came in.
As for those holiday lights, some cities and organizations have started holiday light recycling programs. So if you look to see what's offered in your area, you may be able to get rid of those broken, burned out, or unwanted string lights and still reduce landfill waste. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Well, the countdown to the new year is on, but for pet owners, it's also a time to think about keeping their four-legged friends calm and safe. Loud fireworks and noisemakers can cause extreme stress for animals. To help pets handle the noise, the U.S. Humane Society recommends staying indoors, closing windows, and using distractions like music or TV shows. Also, make sure your pet gets plenty of exercise during the day to tire them out before the festivities begin. For extra protection, experts urge owners to keep their pets microchipped and wearing trackable ID tags in case they run away. And if you have the choice, animal welfare groups recommend quieter alternatives to fireworks like laser or drone shows. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast, and later, a pay raise is on the way for millions of Social Security recipients and what it means for your finances in the new year.
Well, it turned out to be a nice day for us today. We still had a lot of clouds across the region, a little bit of sun peeking through, but we've had a couple bouts of rain this week and we still have a couple to go. On Thursdays, our drought tracker always updates, and of course we were in extreme and exceptional drought just 2 months ago, so we look pretty good now. We're just dry across the region, still moderate drought once you get up towards Stockton Lake, but overall, looking pretty good. All right, if you are going to be out tonight, we are going to have those on and off showers. Plus, on top of that, we're going to have fog. So those visibilities are really going to drop, especially Kansas, Oklahoma. But if you live in Missouri or Arkansas, yeah, we're still going to have patchy, thick fog, just not enough to require a dense fog advisory. We've had some clouds, some light showers kind of rotating through during the evening hours. Heaviest rain is down through parts of Arkansas, but we are going to have batches of showers as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Brief break tomorrow morning, and then another wave building out across the eastern parts of the Rockies, which will give us again some showers as we go into Friday. So by midnight or so, we're going to have periods of light rain pushing through. Most of these showers out of here by morning. Here's 7 a.m., cloudy skies, upper 40s. By late morning, toward the noon hour, scattered pop-up showers getting going again and then increasing as we go through the afternoon. So here's about 4 p.m. Look at our temperatures, pretty good, mid to upper 50s, but showers working through. I think any showers we do have out there mainly going to be gone by 7 or 8 p.m. and then we look pretty quiet as we go through Friday evening. Rain's not going to be very heavy at all. All right, chances stay fairly high tonight, dip off in the morning, and then kind of go back up just a bit tomorrow afternoon. How much rain could you get? Not a lot. Most of us 1/10 of an inch, maybe 2/10 of an inch. We may get 1/4 of an inch in some spots, but the rainfall tonight and on Friday is going to be fairly light. Temperatures have mainly been holding near 50 degrees. That's what we're going to see all night long. Day planner 49 in the morning, 55 by noon. High temp right around 57 on your Friday afternoon. All right, let's go down the road. So we have these weak systems. Here's the one we're seeing right now, passing through. Another weak one moves in on Saturday. Doesn't have a lot of moisture. That rotates out. Sunday looks good. Monday looks good. Temperatures look good until we get into New Year's. Here comes the storm system, and this will start to draw in some colder Canadian air. So by next Thursday, next Friday, it's going to feel like the month of January, which is right around the corner. Just no big storm systems over the next week or so. 57 on your Friday, 60 on Saturday. Sunday looks great, 58, 63 on Monday. And then look at our temperatures. They start to cool down, 47 on New Year's Eve, 42 New Year's Day, and then high temps only into the upper 30s to end next week. Bigger storm system moving in right around the 5th or 6th. Anthony?
All right, Doug, thanks. Coming up, returning your holiday gifts.
Well, if you thought Christmas shopping was over, welcome to the mall the day after Christmas. I'm Jeff Flock with the Fox Business Network in Wayne, New Jersey. Now I'll have the story on Christmas returns when we come back.
The Social Security Administration is planning on several changes come 2025, and for some, that means more money. Fox Multimedia reporter Kennedy Hayes looks at the key changes to Social Security coming next year and what they could mean for your wallet.
While those holiday shopping expenses may be adding up, a timely boost in pay is on its way to millions of Americans come 2025. The Social Security Administration announced in October the cost of living adjustment known as COLA will be 2.5% next year, meaning for the more than 72 million people receiving Social Security checks, their monthly payments will soon be going up by that amount.
It's not all that much. I mean, for a lot of people, we're talking, maybe $50 a month. It's not likely to make a big difference in how much you're getting, which is a pain point.
Still, it's an increase some say couldn't come soon enough.
I mean, cost of living is getting so expensive, so adjusting it is always great, especially, I have some elderly relatives who live off Social Security.
Financial experts say the new year also marks an opportunity to reassess personal finances.
Despite the underwhelming COLA adjustment, it's important that seniors focus on things that they can control, and one of those things is their budget.
For those looking to cut back, suggestions include scaling back on eating out, looking for deals, particularly on utilities, or taking advantage of cashback or rewards cards.
Another tip for seniors or people who are receiving benefits is to look at re-entering the job market. So it might be looking at exploring a part-time job, starting a side hustle, or even starting up a small business just to give you flexibility as well as help you generate that extra income.
For those wondering when the new COLA adjustment will hit checks, the change technically goes into effect this month, December, but will be reflected in payments received come January. In Denver, Kennedy Hayes, Fox News.
Well, the days after the holidays mean one thing for many shoppers: returns. At the Willowbrook Mall in Wayne, New Jersey, General Manager Ryan Hidalgo says this is a huge day, not just for returns, but for sales too. Shoppers bring back gifts that didn't quite work out and often spend more while they're there using gift cards or store credits to treat themselves to something they really want. Last year, 17% of all holiday purchases, a staggering $890 billion, were returned. Most returns happen in the first week, and a majority of the shoppers say they prefer to return items in store rather than online. At Willowbrook, there are no restocking fees, and with a wide selection of retailers, shoppers can find that perfect size or item right away. Well, the same is here for the 4 states. If you didn't like your gift, that's okay. Most folks have the option to return those items. According to the National Retail Federation and a management company called Happy Returns, retailers expect a return of $890 billion during the 2024 holiday season. KOAM's Lonnie Walton stopped by the Meadowbrook Mall in Pittsburgh to see what shoppers think is the #1 reason someone might return a gift.
Well, it's always great to go after the holiday is over.
Nathan Hensley is enjoying the day with his family. We thought he was back because he was returning an unwanted gift, but he says he's just getting started.
Yesterday being Christmas, it was such a great time to come today and see what kind of sales are out there.
Many people like sales, but if they don't like what they're getting, the process of fixing it is a problem for some.
Probably the long lines. Probably having to get out and get in line and return it.
Good thing we didn't find any long lines today, but that begs the question, what are some of the reasons people in the 4 states return gifts this holiday season?
Well, I'm a big guy, so usually it's because they don't fit.
And that's what we've been hearing all day.
Mostly that's because of the fact that it doesn't quite fit right, or maybe it's not the color.
It doesn't fit, or if I exchange, it's usually just for a different size.
And we found a few who say they never return gifts.
I have not, no.
Okay. Not for years upon years. No, I never really return anything. I'm usually always pretty happy with what I get.
Nope, nothing returning.
And while we were at Meadowbrook Mall, we didn't find anyone returning anything. Well, except one person.
Microwave for my truck, which didn't work, by the way, and we're going to have to take back.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Well, one of the top reasons for returns during the holidays is clothing size, according to 11active.com. First-time filings for unemployment held steady last week, indicating layoff activity remains low. That's according to a report from the U.S. Department of Labor released Thursday. There were an estimated 219,000 initial jobless claims filed during the week, ending December 21st. That's a drop of 1,000 from the week before. However, the number of people receiving ongoing jobless benefits hit a 3-year high, a signal that it's harder for job seekers to find work. Well, President-elect Trump's threats to regain control of the Panama Canal are making waves as his return to the White House approaches. That's coming up.
Super sale at Furniture Row. Right now, save $100 on every $1,000 you spend, or score 6.
Well, some area shoppers scored a touchdown this Christmas holiday. Earlier this month, Wayside Furniture in Joplin issued a giveaway challenge. If the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Pittsburgh Steelers on Christmas Day by more than 12 points, customers who bought anything in the store from December 12th through Christmas Eve would get it for free. Today, as you can imagine, customers came ready to collect.
Well, several times we thought they weren't going to. Like they got 12 points and then they went back and forth.
Well, that's great. I never thought we'd pull it off, but they did. A good team. Andy's done a good job with that team.
I'm happy.
Wayside Furniture has made the same offer 4 other times during the Chiefs' 3 Super Bowl appearances and the first AFC Championship with Patrick Mahomes. 30 more minutes of news, weather, sports coming your way. Coming up, President-elect Trump continues his threats to regain control of the Panama Canal and are making waves just weeks before he returns to the White House. Plus, President Biden wraps up his final holiday before leaving office, while President-elect Trump gets ready for his inauguration.
You're watching the 4 States Most Watched News.
President-elect Trump names his pick for ambassador to Panama. Trump's latest nomination comes as the incoming president has doubled down on recent threats to regain control of the Panama Canal. Fox's Grady Trimble is at the White House with the latest.
With just 25 days remaining until Donald Trump returns to the White House, the president-elect is focusing on the Panama Canal. On Christmas, Trump kicked off lengthy posts wishing a Merry Christmas to all, including, quote, the wonderful soldiers of China who are lovingly but illegally operating the Panama Canal. It comes as the incoming president has repeatedly threatened to regain control of the 48-mile waterway in Central America, a key component of U.S. freight transportation. Wednesday, Trump named his pick for U.S. ambassador to Panama, saying in a statement, I am pleased to announce that Kevin Marino Cabrera will serve as the United States ambassador to the Republic of Panama, a country that is ripping us off on the Panama Canal far beyond their wildest dreams.
And the Panama Canal is critical to our national security. And at present, it is being run by the Chinese Communist Party. So it's a concern? Absolutely.
Cabrera, a Florida county commissioner, worked for the Trump campaign in 2020. The 34-year-old was born in Miami to parents who fled Cuba. Trump boasted of Cabrera's qualifications on social media, writing, quote, few understand Latin American politics as well as Kevin. He'll do a fantastic job representing our nation's interests in Panama. Additionally, the president-elect has been making headlines over boasts of wanting to buy Greenland and suggesting Canada could become the 51st state. Some Democrats say such moves signal a turbulent administration ahead.
It signals chaos. It's as if Trump took out a world map and started throwing darts and decided to threaten whatever country the darts land. I mean, Greenland, Panama, Canada, no one saw any of this coming because this is what Donald Trump does. He stirs chaos.
Despite Cabrera's nomination, the U.S. Senate still needs to confirm President-elect Trump's pick. At the White House, Grady Trimble, Fox Business.
Well, President Biden is condemning a Russian Christmas Day attack on Ukraine, promising to continue sending weapons to support the country. But that could change when President-elect Donald Trump takes office. Despite the ongoing war, Ukrainian soldiers and President Zelensky celebrated the holiday season, with Zelensky marking the first night of Hanukkah in Kyiv. The Russian assault on Christmas Day targeted Ukraine's energy infrastructure, not military sites. President Biden called the attack inhumane and directed the Pentagon to continue sending military aid to Ukraine, but Trump says his focus will be on negotiating a peace deal. With the future of U.S. support for Ukraine hanging in the balance, all eyes are on the coming administration. President Biden has had a busy holiday week. He signed 50 bills into law Monday, and just days before Biden marked his 235th federal judge confirmed, surpassing Donald Trump's confirmation total for his first term. Now the president is on vacation as he wraps up his time in the Oval Office. We have more on the latest on that transition process before President-elect Trump takes office.
President Biden and his family arrived in St. Croix Thursday, his final holiday before leaving the White House next month. In the new year, Biden will return to Washington with just days until President-elect Trump is inaugurated on January 20th. Already 25 days out from that day, speculation is mounting as to what the incoming president will prioritize, particularly after Russia launched a Christmas Day strike on Ukraine, putting added pressure on the incoming Trump administration to put an end to the ongoing war in Eastern Europe.
The big question is, what is our position? What's our plan? What's the objectives?
For his part, Trump does appear focused on overhauling U.S. foreign policies. On Christmas Day, the president-elect narrowing in on Panama, repeating threats made over the weekend that the U.S. should regain control of the Panama Canal.
This complete ripoff of our country will immediately stop.
But with the start of a new year around the corner, Americans appear to be heading into it exhausted by political news. A new national poll showing a majority have felt the need to step back and take time off from their news intake. 7 in 10 Democrats taking a break, as well as 6 in 10 Republicans. Still, with a new year comes a new Congress and a busy schedule in 2025.
I do think when Congress is involved, we're going to see more policy stability for the decisions that President Trump can make on his own. I think that's where we're going to see more instability and a lack of predictability.
On his first day in office, President-elect Trump is planning a flurry of executive orders and directives, but those can be subject to court challenges. At the White House, Grady Trimble, Fox Business.
Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast and A woman is rescued after getting lost in Chattahoochee National Forest.
Culture and Spiva Center for the Arts.
Well, it turned out to be a nice day for us today. We still had a lot of clouds across the region, a little bit of sun peeking through, but we've had a couple bouts of rain this week and we still have a couple to go. On Thursdays, our drought tracker always updates, and of course we were in extreme and exceptional drought just 2 months ago, so we look pretty good now. We're just dry across the region, still moderate drought once you get up towards Stockton Lake, but overall, looking pretty good. All right, if you are going to be out tonight, we are going to have those on and off showers. Plus, on top of that, we're going to have fog, so those visibilities are really going to drop, especially Kansas, Oklahoma. But if you live in Missouri or Arkansas, yeah, we're still going to have patchy, thick fog, just not enough to require a dense fog advisory. We've had some clouds, some light showers kind of rotating through during the evening hours. Heaviest rain is down through parts of Arkansas, but we are going to have batches of showers as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Brief break tomorrow morning, and then another wave building out across the eastern parts of the Rockies, which will give us again some showers as we go into Friday. So by midnight or so, we're going to have periods of light rain pushing through. Most of these showers out of here by morning. Here's 7 a.m., cloudy skies, upper 40s. By late morning, toward the noon hour, scattered pop-up showers getting going again and then increasing as we go through the afternoon. So here's about 4 p.m. Look at our temperatures, pretty good, mid to upper 50s, but showers working through. I think any showers we do have out there mainly going to be gone by 7 or 8 p.m. and then we look pretty quiet as we go through Friday evening. Rain's not going to be very heavy at all. All right, chances stay fairly high tonight, dip off in the morning, and then kind of go back up just a bit tomorrow afternoon. How much rain could you get? Not a lot. Most of us 1/10 of an inch, maybe 2/10 of an inch. We may get 1/4 of an inch in some spots, but the rainfall tonight and on Friday is going to be fairly light. Temperatures have mainly been holding near 50 degrees. That's what we're going to see all night long. Day planner 49 in the morning, 55 by noon. High temp right around 57 on your Friday afternoon. All right, let's go down the road. So we have these weak systems. Here's the one we're seeing right now, passing through. Another weak one moves in on Saturday. Doesn't have a lot of moisture. That rotates out. Sunday looks good. Monday looks good. Temperatures look good until we get into New Year's. Here comes a storm system, and this will start to draw in some colder Canadian air. So by next Thursday, next Friday, it's going to feel like the month of January, which is right around the corner. Just no big storm systems over the next week or so. 57 on your Friday, 60 on Saturday. Sunday looks great, 58, 63 on Monday. And then look at our temperatures. They start to cool down, 47 on New Year's Eve, 42 New Year's Day, and then high temps only into the upper 30s to end next week. Bigger storm system moving in right around the 5th or 6th. Anthony?
All right, Doug, thanks. Still ahead, high school basketball in the 4 states makes its return. John Dales has the highlights from the first day of action at the Neosho Holiday Classic. That's up next in sports.
After pretty much all of the high school sports took a break for the early part of this week, basketball returns today with the Neosho Holiday Classic, and several schools from across the 4 states and beyond are a part of the tournament. Neosho girls basketball playing for the first time in 10 days, hosting Huntsville, Arkansas in the first round of the Holiday Classic tournament. Final seconds of the first half, Emmeline Henry just flings it backwards and it goes in at the buzzer to give the Eagles a 2-point lead at halftime. Third quarter, Becklin Garrett drives to the hoop, shot goes in plus a foul after finishing the 3-point play. She gives the Wildcats the lead. A couple possessions later, Garrett dishes to Jasmine Washington. She turns around and scores. But then Huntsville really starts to heat up offensively. Later in the third, Maggie Ritchie cuts to the hoop wide open and finishes the easy layup. Eagles lead by 5. Next time down the floor, Brooklyn McCartney drills a 3-pointer to stretch the lead to 8. And Huntsville runs away with it in the second half. Final score 49-34. Neosho will play in the consolation bracket tomorrow at 11 a.m. Now to the boys bracket. Seneca basketball takes on Crooked Oak from Oklahoma City. In first possession of the game, Crooked Oak junior Jordan Martinez casually catches and shoots from a few steps beyond the three-point line. He drills it. Seneca then able to respond right away. Jace Schulte puts his defender on skates, and he finds Dom Brown open down low for two. But the Roughnecks shooting would be hard to stop in this one. Another three-pointer, this time courtesy of Elijah Garcia. Then full court pressure leads to a turnover, and immediately the other way, Trey Martinez gets the layup to go, and he's fouled. Lead grows to double digits. Seneca would hang tough in the first half. Zane Grotjon pulls up off the dribble and hits from just inside the three-point line. Then from outside the three-point line, here's Grotjon again, but Crooked Oak is just too much for Seneca to handle. Indians fall 77-56. They go to the consolation bracket tomorrow morning. Elsewhere in that same bracket, Carl Junction falls to Benton High School 87-65. Bulldogs will play against Seneca in that consolation game tomorrow morning at 9:30. Neosho boys basketball avenges the girls team's loss by beating Huntsville 55-51. The Wildcats will now face Memphis Middle College in the semifinals of the winners bracket. That's tomorrow afternoon at 4:30. And switching over to college football, postseason action continues today. A couple of bowl games of note. Kansas State beats Rutgers 44-41 in the Rate Bowl. The Wildcats finished the year with a record of 9-4. In the 68 Ventures Bowl, Arkansas State leads Bowling Green 24-21 right before halftime. And then in the NFL tonight, the Seahawks lead the Bears 6-3 late in the fourth quarter. Okay. We were talking about it a little bit earlier. Yeah. The Seahawks need a win and some help to stay in the playoff race.
Absolutely. Playoffs are getting tight for a lot of those teams that have those close records right now.
They definitely are.
But then you have your dominant forces, Chiefs being one of them.
Yeah.
Huge win last night, for sure.
Huge win for them. They might have 2 bye weeks now, kind of, because they can rest their starters.
Absolutely. It's going to be an entertaining postseason.
Should be.
All right. We're back with more after this. First responders are ready to save lives in one of the trickiest spots, the Georgia mountains, no matter how difficult it may be. Linda Stouffer reports after rescuers pulled off a first-of-its-kind operation.
In the Georgia mountains, a medical emergency, and the hiker there on this rescue line is someone you know.
I'm Carol Sparge. I was an anchor and reporter for 29 years at Channel 2.
Now retired from WSB, Carol is an experienced hiker. In September, she was on a trail with her boyfriend in the Chattahoochee National Forest.
As I was kind of walking on the trail, my foot hit a rock, and before I knew it, I just went tumbling down this ravine.
And hiking back out, impossible.
I broke the lower leg in 3 spots. I have a plate here and then 8 screws.
Crews drove as far as they could. So what's this?
This is a rope bag. It's got all the rope and connections that they need to do a rescue.
Then grabbed gear and hiked in.
And you hiked with us?
Yes, ma'am, we did. We had to hike it in. It was probably about a mile and a half, 2 miles into Carroll.
They lifted Carol onto a wheeled board, but then more 911 calls. Paramedics were needed in several places at once.
We've got a med unit going to the gorge. Now we've got another med unit going to Panther Creek, plus the other calls that are going on.
So they made a crucial call to do something they'd only practiced with the Department of Natural Resources. The first chopper rescue at Panther Creek Falls.
She was stable, and we let the pilots know what was going on, and we just went with it.
So that's you?
Yes, I'm being strapped into the chair.
For 3.6 miles, Carol was floating over the Chattahoochee National Forest on the way to the hospital.
It was textbook to what we had practiced. It was perfect.
So it was a perfect situation to use what we trained on.
They're just special people. They're putting themselves at risk. You know, every day they don't know what kind of danger they're going to face.
It's wonderful. It means we've done our job, we've done a good job at it, and we got her to where she needed to be. Makes me feel great all over.
It's amazing. I'm very appreciative.
Coming up, Netflix has announced a new season of the hit thriller series Squid Game. It's been over 3 years since Squid Game became a viral hit for Netflix. The long-awaited second season is now streaming. Rick Damagella has more.
It's time to play again in the second season of Squid Game. What can fans expect this season?
새로운 게임이죠. 예.
New games, of course.
새로운 캐릭터,
And new characters.
새로운 갈등,
And new conflicts.
또 새로운 우정.
And new friendship.
난 그 게임을 멈추려는 거야.
Squid Game's creator and cast were surprised at the series' worldwide viral popularity.
너무 놀라운 일이었죠. 물론 크리에이터로서.
It came as a shock because, of course, when you set out to work with a company like Netflix as a creator, you go into it hoping that your show will be a global success, but never to the point where it became quite literally the biggest show in history. So at times, I had moments where I thought it all felt so surreal, and I would ask myself, is someone pranking me?
세상에 맡기지 않는 게임은 끝나지 않아.
배우로서 한국의 컨텐츠가
As an actor working mainly in Korea, I was totally surprised by the huge success of the Squid Game, given the fact that this is produced in a different language, not English. So many of us would consider it kind of a miracle.
456번 게임에 돌아온 걸 환영하네.
In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damagella.
Well, Christmas Day has come and gone, but the celebration continues. This celebration calls specifically for something you may have received in your stocking. Today is National Candy Cane Day. It is observed every year on December 26th. It's not entirely clear exactly when candy canes came into existence, but there's evidence that they started popping up around 1866. Candy canes were then associated with Christmas around 1874 and started hanging on Christmas trees as early as 1882. Who doesn't love a good candy cane? Well, that's our time for tonight. We hope you had a great Christmas and an even better New Year coming up. We'll see you then. Have a great night.